So Brook Dickison, you are an instructor at the College of Education at Angelo State University. Talk about the coursework that you instruct, why it's meaningful both to you and to your students.
Yes, I teach in the Department of Curriculum Instruction. It is a wonderful department. We have various programs at the graduate level that we teach online. We teach in 8-week sections, so we have 2 8-week sections and one 16-week semester. This allows our graduate students the opportunity to take their courses and be a little bit more focused in the curriculum for the 2 courses they take the first term and the 2 courses they take the second term. And it also allows us to be a little bit more detailed in our instruction to those students. I think it's really great for our students because they have an opportunity to be remote and get online at the time that fits their schedule and work through a graduate program. I think it offers a lot of opportunity for parents and for students that are going back to school or others that can't do it on a fixed time frame.
So teaching online, that must present its own set of challenges compared to teaching in a classroom. Do you prefer that, and how do you sort of adjust with the fact that you're teaching these students who you never actually see face to face?
I think each offer up their own set of difficulties. Being able to teach in a classroom allows you that face-to-face contact. I think you still have that in an online setting because we communicate via email and it's constant. We're available when our students are available, so it really allows us to get down into the details that they need, whether it's clarification for instruction or a little bit more detail for instruction. It really helps us focus on that student, particularly in their time frames. Once again, and it's really important, usually their time frames are at night, and so we're there and readily available for them, whereas a classroom doesn't offer that.
Now, you earned your master's degree in education at Angelo State University. So did you always hope or plan to become an educator?
That was not initially my thought whenever I graduated from Texas A&M. Originally, I wanted to work in the agricultural sector and the nonprofit side, but then God had a different plan. And so I followed His plan for me, and this is where I've ended up today, and I couldn't be happier.
So I assume you prefer teaching in a university setting. Why a university setting as opposed to a secondary school setting?
I'm not opposed to teaching in a secondary setting. I do like public education, obviously. My kids go to a public school, and I think that they have all of their own ups and downs just like a university does. I love teaching at ASU. I enjoy my colleagues, I enjoy our students, I enjoy the Ram fam. I think it's a really great community and a really great place to work. But I didn't start out as a faculty member at ASU. I started out in the development office where I really got to learn the connection with the community, the donors, faculty and staff that give to ASU. And I think that's really what drew me in. And whenever I was asked to come over as faculty in the curriculum and instruction department, it was kind of a done deal. It was a no-brainer. It was a yes, sir, I'm coming today.
Very good. So now you're pursuing a doctorate in higher education from Texas Tech. So what are the challenges of doing that, pursuing a doctorate degree at the same time you're a full-time employee at Angelo State University? You're raising a family, and you're also really involved in your community there in Sterling City. So how do you balance all of those different things, and how do you pursue your your doctorate in education at the same time that you're juggling these other balls?
Well, it definitely takes a delicate balance. I would have to say I couldn't do it without my husband and my kids. They understand that. They understand the need for me to be away from them at times. But I do have a really great position at ASU that allows me the flexibility I need to do some of the things I need to do for Texas Tech, for my family life, and then also getting my job accomplished and finished at ASU. Again, my colleagues in my department are one of the best on campus to work with, and if I didn't have my husband who backs me up and supports me in everything, then it wouldn't be a balance. My kids actually sit down and do homework with me, and they think it's really cool that their mom is doing homework at the same time that they are, and they see that education is continuous, that it's never ending, and they don't really understand that there isn't anything after high school. They know that education is something that will always be a part of their life, and they'll learn something new every day. And that's something my husband and I really want to instill in them, is that it is always going to be there, and you're always going to be able to take that opportunity and grow yourself, whether it's personally or professionally. So I think it all comes in turns with each other. You have to really work at it, but it's easier when you have the support you need from your department and from your family.
So personally, why was it important to you to earn a doctorate degree, and what do you hope to do with it professionally?
Well, personally, it was a matter of someone telling me I couldn't do it, and I wanted to show that I could, that I was able. My kids looking at me and saying, well, Mom, that's a big deal. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that and work and be a mom. But it was something that I set my sights on, and I knew I wanted to do it. Not necessarily for the letters after my name, but just for the simple fact that I got to learn more about my area of education, higher education, my department, and being able to give back to my department and do better for my students that I have at ASU.
So as you mentioned, you initially got a bachelor's degree in an agriculture-related field, and you grew up in Humble, Texas, raising and showing farm animals. What did that experience teach you?
Oh, wow. Well, I started at the age of 8 and went all the way through 18, and I really haven't gotten out of the industry. My husband and I still have children that show, and so we've been very active showing livestock across the state. When I was 8 years old, it was a matter of following my sister, who was older than I, who jumped in and said, I want to show a sheep, and so I wanted to show a sheep. Whatever she did, I wanted to do. And then my younger sister, she wanted to do it, and then she wanted to do something else like pigs. So we all had an opportunity to really grow from that. It taught a lot of skills that I want my kids to have. Work ethic, responsibility, that you're responsible for some living being of some kind, and that you're responsible for getting up every day and taking care of that animal, that you're able to put all of that down into a record book or a project report or something that gave us opportunities later as a senior, etc., to be an officer in the chapter or a district area officer, state officer, receiving a Lone Star or American Farmer degree. Things that all look really great on your resume later on, but you don't think about at that time. It instilled a lot of really neat qualities that I don't think you can get anywhere else.
So that's very interesting that that's now passed along to your kids. Do they seem to enjoy it as much as you did?
Oh, absolutely. If you can't find my kids either playing football, both of them play football, or cheerleading, my daughter, or baseball, my son, they're going to be in the barn. And that's time that they spend with my husband and I. It's a family event. This is not something that they just do on their own. Athletics, a lot of times, it is something that their talent and their skill is what gets them so far. But this is a family event, and we are all in it together. And my kids absolutely love it, and they want to go every weekend to a different stock show. They were always ready to go whenever we're in the truck. Okay, so which town are we going in? Show it to me on a map. Let me know how far it is from here. So they're getting more out of it than just going to a stock show.
Very good. So you are also involved in a host of civic endeavors, and as we mentioned, I mean, you're very busy. Your schedule is packed. So how do you decide which volunteer opportunities that you're going to devote your time and your talents to?
That's very hard. I really do my research. Having come from a nonprofit sector of the oil and gas industry, I really look at the organization. I ask questions, and I look to see where can I help the most? Where is my service really going to be a better fit for me and for the organization? A lot of times, that's kind of a long, drawn-out process, but at least they know that my interest is there. And if it's something that I feel that I can contribute to, then I definitely take it on and can do whatever they ask me to do.
So are there one or two opportunities, efforts that you're involved in that are perhaps most dear to you, that move and motivate you most in some sort of way?
Absolutely. All of them are dear to me, or otherwise I wouldn't be involved in them. I think probably the newest one that I'm involved in is the United Way for the Sterling County. I think that's a really great connection for Sterling City to have with the United Way here in San Angelo, because we are a good distance apart, but the United Way sees a need in our county, in our city, and they see that we really are trying to make things better for our kids, and they want to be a part of it as well. So being that liaison is really a neat thing for me, because it's an opportunity to not only help the United Way, but it's definitely an opportunity for my community.
Speaking of Sterling City, you serve on the Sterling City Council. Talk about why you wanted to do that.
I really like policy. I enjoy learning about policies and how they impact people, how they impact your communities, the country, things like that. I'm a little bit of a nerd that way. I really wanted to become involved in the City Council because I thought that was the best way that I could serve my city. I was actually approached by the City Council as one of the City Council members came to me because they didn't have somebody in the position when we moved there. They wanted to appoint me to the position, which I thought was a huge honor because I had not been there very long. And then I ran again, and I really enjoy being able to find the need in our community and be able to service that through the City Council position that I'm in, especially for my ward that I represent.
Are there any specific challenges, say, to serving in a political office like that in your community versus serving in a nonprofit organization like the United Way?
I think they each have their own set of difficulties. I don't think it's any more difficult to be in one than the other. I believe there are a lot of challenges that we face on the nonprofit side as well as the City Council political side. I think you just have to learn to have a thick skin and be able to listen more than talk, and be able to act upon things that you tell them you will act upon.
So we were talking beforehand about some of the issues that you're facing there in Sterling City. So what is one thing that perhaps you're facing in Sterling City that would either be something that we might see here in San Angelo or something that would be a completely other world than what we might expect to see here?
Even though we're a small city, I think we have some of the same problems, some of the same issues. One of those would be our roads. We have a lot of oil and gas traffic. A lot of the wind tunnels traffic come through because we were right on 87 headed north and going to Midland or to Lubbock. And so we see a lot of road damage, and our citizens have a problem with that. They're there every day and they have to live with it, as opposed to these different companies that are driving their 18-wheelers through our community and causing that destruction.
So Brooke, how do you define leadership?
Well, everybody defines leadership differently. For me, I think leadership is about honesty, integrity, commitment, and hard work. As a leader, your most powerful tool is your own example. Having your own example is not about being in the position, having the title, being the most educated or the toughest. It's really about the action and the example that you provide. It's an opportunity for you to serve your community, and it's an opportunity for you to help others make a difference.
So is there a leader that you have looked to inspire and maybe shape your own leadership?
Oh gosh, there are very many. But if I had to choose one, I would probably say it was a professor I had that made the most impact. Dr. Howard Hasby was my animal science professor at Texas A&M University. He was a great big giant of a man. He played football and he was such an imposing figure, but he was such a gentle, kind individual. He definitely made time to talk to you, and he did it with a smile and a hug every single time. He really was about motivating students inside the classroom as well as outside of the classroom. He would always tell me that you really need to go and have life experiences and make mistakes. And then you need to learn from those mistakes, and it's your job to make sure that others don't make those mistakes. That's pretty huge to put on top of somebody, but it's something that stuck with me all these years. Anybody that was fortunate enough to come into contact with him had the the Hesby experience. And he was just such a gentle soul, and he was all about service to the community, service to the college, service to your family. He was such a kind and gentle person that he just really made a huge impact on me, and I was truly blessed to have him as part of my life.
So Brooke, why don't you make a pitch to young women to invest themselves in their professions and in their communities, maybe particularly if they're in a small community? What would you say to maybe peers of yours to try to inspire them to get more involved?
I would probably tell them that it is definitely worth your while. Take the time, take the effort. Spend as much time as you can getting to know the organizations you want to be a part of, and then throw your entire self into it. If you have the support in the family and the family support in the community behind you, then you can't do anything wrong. You are going to make mistakes, you're going to learn from them, and that organization is going to benefit. You're going to benefit, and it's something that you need to do. You need to be involved. You need to be able to get out there and learn from those people, because they are going to make an impact. Whether it is little or it is big, you don't know until you do it.
So Brook Dickison, it's a huge honor to be one of the 20 under 40. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.